be audacious means to be
walking on the path of your own spirit.
Ooh.
Your spirit.
That's
Yeah.
good. Hey beautiful people, it's Success Mentor Dante J. Worth, and I'm back with another video right here on Audacious Believer TV! Now if this is your first time tuning in, I need you to make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure that you like this video. And make sure that you're commenting down below. Me and my team absolutely love to read your comments. Now today, we're being joined by the beautiful, the fabulous, the one, the only. Tell them who you are, darling.
My name is Olivia Kim.
Now I invited Miss Kim here tonight to talk about, or today, whatever time it is, to talk about the connection between art and emotion. Now before we talk about that, I'm going to ask you the question we ask every single guest. What is your story?
What?
Like, what? I
don't know. Exactly. What? In 5 words or 10?
What? 9. Don't give me that.
I'm a figure sculptor.
Yes.
And I make dancers and Frederick Douglasses and all kinds of people. Yes. I like to study people.
Yes, and she's amazing at it. She's amazing. The city of Rochester is right now celebrating the 200th, well, the bicentennial of Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
And if you've been around the city of Rochester, for those of you who don't live in Rochester, but for those of you who've been around the city of Rochester, those statues of Frederick Douglass, she made them!
With the help of 150 volunteers.
Yes! Thank you, volunteers! Thank you. So in regards to, I love it! We gotta acknowledge everyone.
I know, right?
Yeah, so how did you get into that? How did you get into art? Like, what inspired you to get into that field?
I'll tell you the truth. I'm one of those very strange people that just knew from when I was a baby.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I think that little babies have intuitions and knowledge that adults sometimes forget. And I have to say I was one of those babies that just knew what I needed to do.
So you was like, goo goo gaga, I want to sing and I want to make art.
Something like that. Something like that, yes.
That is awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. So what do you believe the connection is between art and emotion?
That's such a deep question. I mean, how can you ask me that?
Because there's a camera rolling or whatever.
I'd have to say emotion. I'd say art starts with a feeling. Sometimes it starts with a flash. Sometimes I'll see something in my mind's eye that's already completely done. And then I'll just find that my life unfolds so that everything around me creates that piece of artwork.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So what does it do for you to like take something that's in your head and make it tangible in your hands? A lot of people have dreams and goals and aspirations that they just have stuck up here. How does it feel to do that and have that finished product?
The only way to do it is just do it.
Woo! That's good!
Start.
And this video is sponsored by Nike, huh?
Just start. But yes, there is an inner rhythm. There's an inner knowing.
Yes.
And it takes practice. And everybody has this inner knowing and this feeling, right?
Yes.
Of when it's time to start.
Yeah.
But half the time, just for fun, we go around blind and crazy.
I don't know what to do.
And then we just fall into the hole, and then all of a sudden we've made it, right?
It's true, yeah.
But yes, I'd say practicing it. Practicing and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try this. And then what happens is that this inner momentum starts to build.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you realize that as you think, you start to do it. Right? Yeah.
That's tweetable.
Right?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So when you're creating something, and you create very technical, like there are a lot of detail in the pieces that you make. How does that internal voice like control what you're doing and not like get so discouraged where you're like, I'm starting all over, like I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore? Because I can start drawing a straight line, I'm like, I'm done.
I know, right? It's a fine balance.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm only aware of one part of myself at a time. That detailed part, that technical part is incredibly mental, very intellectual. And if you allow just that to become the master, not in a lot of space for that inspiring stuff. So you have to be focused, and you gotta let go. And once again, just like that feeling, you have to pay attention to exactly how you feel, and you'll always find the right balance.
That's good.
Yeah.
Producing something for others to enjoy, what does it do for you to see others emotional about what you created?
Oh my gosh, it's incredibly satisfying. Yes,
good.
I mean, because we all want to know that we're connected to other people, and so when I see somebody who really does feel something, I just soak it all in. You know,
good.
yeah.
Because there's a connection between something that came through you, honestly.
Yes.
It came through you and you were producing it for someone else. That's good.
Yes, it's the closing of a circle.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. For someone out there who aspires to be like you, they say, I have all these dreams, goals, and aspirations. I have this dream of producing something that's stuck up here. They're stuck in their own mind. What can they do?
Like I said, just start.
Just start.
Even if it's the dumbest, nastiest, ugliest thing ever, you just have to just keep going. And you just go and you go and you go. And you just learn.
Yeah.
That's all. It's a process.
What's the biggest emotion that you get while producing your art?
Wait, I'm sorry?
What's the biggest emotion that bubbles up while you're producing art? Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it more like love? Like, what is it? What's going on in your mind?
I feel an enormous tension. An enormous tension between all the different parts of me. So everything's just kind of raging, wanting to... There's my kind of more monkey mind that just wants to go crazy, and I think of like old grudges and stupid crap, right? Then there's the other part of me that says focus and actually is very technical and just drives right into the project. Then there's the emotional part that's like, oh, I feel like this in my body, and then I feel like this when I touch the clay, or so there are many different elements, and I'm keeping track of what happens in my body because that's the tool through which I make these pieces.
That's good. So what inspires you?
Oh, what inspires me? I can't really say. I think it comes spontaneously.
Okay.
I always feel inspired by different things.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm inspired by you right now.
Yeah. I like to keep things open.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, people definitely inspire me. Sometimes it's a very abstract feeling that inspires me. Something that just kind of hits me from wherever.
Yeah.
Even like a little squirrel on a tree.
Yeah.
It'll inspire me.
Yeah. That's good. So I know that recently, the reason this topic came up because there was an emotional shift that happened because of something that happened to your art with Rochester. What was going on in your mind when that happened? When you first heard it?
So I'll describe it. A Frederick Douglass sculpture, one of 13, was vandalized. I'll tell you the truth, because it was fiberglass, I was kind of expecting to have to fix it and do this and that. But the emotional reaction that people had towards this sculpture was so strong, it really did kind of frighten me. I remember in the past, rioting that's happened in America and different countries, and I just thought, you know what? In celebration of Douglass, we need to keep our stuff together. Keep ourselves together. And I really felt that I needed to, in order to balance the situation, I needed to remember the larger picture of where we're actually aiming for with this project, with the celebration of Frederick Douglass, and equality for all human beings on this planet. Right? That we are in a constant moving process. And so I felt that was the message that I had to harness in and be sure that came across. That in order to heal a lot of our injustices and inequalities, we just have to learn more about each other.
That's good.
Because then we get to see that somebody who's rich, who's poor, who's this, who's that, of a different culture, in the end, we all want to live and express our own beauty. And even if it's ignorant or well-educated or
Whatever
whatever,
that beauty is.
we need to just keep learning more,
Yes.
as opposed to shutting the doors, getting angry at each other, and you know, I was a little afraid that a mob could start if the wrong words were said.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
believe
true.
it too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing your time. Are you ready for rapid fire questions?
Oh no.
Favorite book?
Dune by Frank Herbert. Sci-fi fantasy. The fear litany, right? I shall not fear, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Lord of the Rings.
Which one? The first one?
I like the first one.
No, all
I
of
like
it?
the first series.
Okay.
I think because I relate to it, you know?
How do you relate? Come on, tell the
It's-
people how you relate to the...
Well, that ring, right? Right? That ring is just a symbol of that little thing that we can't let go about ourselves. Can you let that go?
That's so deep.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Because that obsession, right?
That's good.
Can drive you mad.
That's good. That one thing that you
Right?
get like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
We're getting a part two. That's good. And what characteristic or what trait about Frederick Douglass can you most relate with?
I think that from what I see, and now I'm not a historian, what I understand is that through all of his travels, his experiences, the things that he's seen, the people he's experienced, right? He was able to, I just feel he was finally able to arrive at a point where he realized he was equal to everyone. And I think he really did find inner freedom.
That's good.
And that to me is kind of what I've strived for, to find this inner freedom within myself and to portray people in their own space of freedom so that people can be inspired by it and find the way to get there.
To get liberated.
Inside.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
inside, yep.
That's self-liberation. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Work harder. Work harder.
And to be audacious means to be...
Walking on the path of your own spirit.
Ooh.
Your spirit.
That's
Yeah.
good. So tell the people how they can find you online, how they can support you.
Okay, you can look up my work at www.oliviakimstudio.com. You can look me up on Facebook as Olivia Kim or Instagram as Olivia Kim Studio.
Yes. Yes, you got more on your work. Oh my God. You went straight into work mode. You're like, and look me up at... Please look at your seats. So until next time, remember that life is meant to be enjoyed and not just enjoyed. How you doing?